Next on Paranormal, caught on camera. A family visiting a museum in England.
Where are you, Mary?
Lives. Next on Paranormal, caught on camera. A family visiting a museum in England.
Where are you, Mary?
Gets the shock of their lives.
Oh my God. I can honestly say I do believe there's life after death now.
Did two business partners in New Jersey
You see that? What is that?
capture proof
That is the weirdest thing.
of Bigfoot?
My brain wasn't working right after I saw it. I was like, this is not real.
Investigators in an old mill house
If there's anybody around, could you make yourself known, please?
make literal contact with a ghost.
What the was that?
I just felt something smack me, and it was quite painful, to be honest.
And even more paranormal footage you have to see to believe.
That's exceptionally weird.
Aston Hall is a monolithic mansion in the UK, constructed between 1618 and 1635 by Sir Thomas Holt, a wealthy landowner behind many violent legends. Perhaps the most tragic being the one involving his daughter, Mary, who fell in love with a man Thomas thought was below their stature. So he locked her away in a small bedroom for 16 years, until an untimely death in captivity. Though according to what one couple in England recently captured, even death might not have been enough to set Mary free.
Where are you, Mary?
July 2022, Birmingham, England. Thomas Wheatman and Sabrina Hussein are exploring the Aston Hall Museum for their daughter's school project. But what begins as an educational family outing takes a dark turn when their son sees something that terrifies him upstairs in the roped-off section of the museum that was once the room of an imprisoned woman named Mary Holt. So, after the staff assures them that no one is in the roped-off area, Thomas and Sabrina record themselves approaching Mary's room, hoping to show their son video proof that there's nothing to worry about.
Mary?
But their plan of comforting the frightened boy doesn't quite work out
You mean you no harm?
the way they hoped.
Where are you, Mary?
Did you see it? Watch again. As a dark figure appears to sprint past the door.
My name's Sabrina.
My name's Thomas. This is our video.
My son was on the stairs with my daughter, and my son just started crying hysterically. I was thinking he's probably just imagined that he saw something and it wasn't actually anything.
Basically, I got out my phone, and me being skeptical, I didn't believe in spirits and ghosts or anything like that. So I was having a bit of banter, like saying, "Oh, Mary," and the video speaks for itself. We were just frozen.
I lost my breath when we see this shadow figure, small, would seem to have what looks like long hair, move from right to left behind that door. And it was just undeniable.
It's a dark form. You don't really see any details of facial features or anything like that, but it certainly cuts the figure of a woman to me, and it appears that she's wearing a dress.
Perhaps even more startling, in the split second Mary appears, Sabrina feels an overwhelming physical change in her body.
Did you see it? I could not move off them stairs. I was getting out of breath. I was petrified. It was like someone was holding me on the stairs, and then when I was able to, it was like they released me. Did you see it?
That does happen when you're dealing with something that is either very powerful or there's a lot of traumatic or trauma behind their death, why they're there haunting the location. You can feel those things. And I think that by encroaching on Mary's space, I think these were ways that Mary was letting them know, I don't want to communicate. I don't want you to come in here, and I'm just wanting to reside here and be left alone.
If that's the case, the couple doesn't heed Mary's request.
Are you still in there, Mary? You can come out now. My name's Thomas. Hello.
Watch again as the dark figure
My name's Thomas. Hello.
darts back across the doorway.
This thing moves back and forth, almost as if it's aggressively pacing. You see this in zoos where tigers and lions are just back and forth, back and forth. They don't like this incarceration. And I can't imagine the young lady who was kept in this room for 16 years liked it any better.
But if this is the spirit of Mary, why is she making an appearance now, at this particular moment?
Are you still in there, Mary? You can come out now. My name's Thomas.
When we're trying to document these experiences objectively, one of the ways we try to do that is using triggers. And triggers can be anything from an object to a word to music to even what you're wearing. So the fact that the man in the video, his name was Thomas, and we know historically Mary's father's name was Thomas. The fact that that man is in there and he's saying, hey, I'm Thomas, hey, Mary, it's Thomas, could that have triggered something? Possibly. It's certainly something that we explore in the supernatural.
The family leaves the museum immediately after, unable to show their son that he had nothing to be afraid of. Meanwhile, Thomas and Sabrina walk away from the encounter with two very different perspectives.
The experience at Aston Hall for me personally got me intrigued, and I would revisit again in the future if the opportunity happened to arise again.
As a skeptical person, I can honestly say I do believe there's life after death now. And I can honestly say I won't be revisiting that place, and I don't think I'll ever go to a museum again. It's not for me. Did you see it?
Never say never.
No, I'm definitely saying never.
Where are you, Mary?
Oh, God.
Coming up, a Bigfoot-like creature.
You see that? What is that?
Is spotted in New Jersey.
That's the weirdest thing.
Imagine going about your daily routine when you spot something that should terrify you. But because it makes absolutely no sense and simply does not compute with what you know about the world, you essentially have almost no reaction at all. Sound crazy? Well, not to two business partners in New Jersey who had that very experience a few years ago when they came upon some kind of creature that totally baffled them.
You see that? What is that?
March 2022, Frenchtown, New Jersey. Sean Gilday and his business partner Rachel Hill are stopping by Sean's farm to lock up his peacocks in the barn for the night. As Rachel waits for him in the car, she sees something moving around about 100 yards away in the woods. When Sean returns, she points it out, and he starts filming.
What is that? Can't really. You see that?
It looks like a bear. What?
What the hell is it running?
My name is Rachel.
And my name is Sean.
And this is our video. The headlights kind of caught a glimpse of, this furry creature that was moving, except it was a lot larger than anything that I personally had ever seen. I kind of was like shell-shocked.
What is that? Looks like it has arms.
I can't tell at all what that is.
Perhaps because of the shock, they don't feel as much fear as they should.
I felt like I could get away. I didn't think that whatever it was could come up on us, and the car would probably be some protection. I don't know. I was just, my brain wasn't working right after I saw it. I was like, this is not real. This can't be.
That is the weirdest thing.
It's still a weird thing to talk about because it's just like, there's no logical explanation in my brain that fits it.
One thing they considered was that maybe someone was playing a prank on them by wearing a costume. But after thinking it through, that didn't make sense.
That would be extremely foolish. I know the neighbors around and everybody has pretty big farms. And, if somebody were to do something on somebody else's property, there's a chance they could be shot. So I don't think that somebody's just playing around. It wouldn't make sense to do that. That would be silly.
Yeah, I think the circumstances were too random. I think it was like a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night in the middle of March. It wasn't Halloween. There was no reason. And Sean lives in too remote of an area. There's not even really too many neighbors around, let alone kids that would be, investing their time trying to play a prank in hopes that maybe someone saw them.
That's the weirdest thing.
So, if not a wild animal or a person in a hairy suit, then what exactly did Rachel and Sean capture on camera that night?
For the most part, this looks like your typical Bigfoot creature, except it's not really as tall as we're used to seeing. It's more squat and burly. It has what appears to be very long brown hair covering its entire body.
This thing looks like Bigfoot to me. A short Bigfoot, maybe, but I rewound and paused and zoomed in on this footage a lot. And I don't think it's a bear. I don't think it's a person in a suit.
No way that that's a bear, especially not a bear from New Jersey. They don't typically look like a humanoid with long arms. And they're also not typically even that big.
And speaking of New Jersey,
believe it or not, New Jersey, for such a small state, has its fair share of cryptids, including devils, mantis men, and Bigfoot.
Throughout the nation, Bigfoot is referred to by a number of different names, like Fookie Monster or the Swamp Ape in Florida. Here in New Jersey, we have a name for it too. The locals call it the Big Red Eye.
You see that?
Another thing to consider: the odd way it is behaving.
It's maneuvering in such a way that it's peculiar because it's not running away. It seems to still be standing and unsure of what or who they are as well. So as much as they seem to be curious as to what this is, it seems to be doing the same thing with them.
And it's moving around in a way that seems matrixy. I can't even explain it. It's turning around so fast. It does movements that we're not doing this as humans. You're not spinning back and forth like this, almost like it's defaulting. Is it coming from a different dimension that we're not understanding the physics of this and how this works? It's not conventional at all.
That's an understatement.
You see that?
But whatever the creature is, and whatever it was doing that night, it remains a mystery to Rachel and Sean.
I can't tell at all what that is.
And they aren't ruling out the possibility that it could have been Bigfoot.
I try and have an open mind about everything, and it's hard to say what's true until you actually experience it. I think this experience has definitely opened my mind and changed my perspective in the sense that, yeah, this could be a possibility.
I don't believe in anything, at least up to this point, but like I saw something that I couldn't explain, period. So there's a possibility something exists that I didn't know about in the past? I do believe that.
Do you see that?
What is that?
Coming up, spirits in an old mill house.
If there's anybody around, could you make yourself known, please?
Become violent.
What the f was that?
There's an old mill house in England that's said to be haunted. Built in 1779, it was eventually modernized and stayed in operation until the early 1930s. But while the mill itself is no longer in use, the house can be rented out. And some guests who've stayed there have reported seeing shadow figures, an apparition of a man, and hearing unexplained noises. Recently, 2 investigators went there, hoping to make contact with any of the spirits that might be responsible.
Would you be able to touch one of us?
And it seems at least one of those spirits took making contact very literally.
What the?
May 2024, Essex, England. Jeff Young and Mark Jones have just arrived at the old mill house for an investigation.
I will say that this place is in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads. There's nothing that can disturb us.
The 2 have heard reports of odd activity happening at this location from several sources and have come here to see if any of the entities responsible will make an appearance.
We're going to be here for a couple of nights. Myself and Mark are going to be sleeping here. So we're just going to have a little walk through. My name is Jeff, and this is my video. When we first entered, it was a really nice place. Everything seemed calm.
Perhaps a little too calm. So Jeff begins by simply inviting any spirits to make contact.
Is there anyone there? Can you say hello? Maybe do something to let us know that you're listening?
What was that?
As we were walking along upstairs, there was a bang. It sounded like a door closing.
Mark and Jeff make their way downstairs toward the noise.
Hello? Who's down here? We just heard you make a noise. Is there someone down here with us?
Apparently, whoever or whatever was responsible for the noise has gone silent. So after a while, Mark and Jeff decide to turn in for the night.
So we'll speak to you tomorrow evening, and hopefully you'll come forward and tell us your name or names.
Mark and Jeff may be slightly disappointed, but after a good night's sleep, the next day brings a fresh opportunity to try again.
If there's anybody around, could you make yourself known, please?
We were just sitting there doing our session. The REM pod was showing temperature changes. So that was alarming and flashing.
That's brilliant, thank you. Now this may sound a bit crazy, but would you be able to touch one of us? My friend Jeff in front with the camera, or me sat here? What the?
Watch again, as something appears to hit Jeff on the head.
My friend Jeff in front with the camera, or me sat here? What the f was that?
I just felt something smack me, and it was quite painful, to be honest. And I heard something go behind me.
I've been hit on the head with something.
I had a small mark where it had, dead centre. It was a good shot.
There it is. It's one of those stones I told you.
The stone they find matches the pieces from a game box in the dining room.
They're asking, can you touch us? Can you do something? And then boom, game piece flies across the room and hits one of them in the head. You don't get a more obvious answer than that.
You can hear the piece hit the ground. It kind of bounces a couple times. Had a little bit of weight to it too. I'm sure that probably didn't feel good to get pinged in the head like that. But what was the intention? I think the spirit was saying, hey, this session is closed. This investigation is over. I'm holding the cards here. Get out.
And yet another layer is added when Jeff and Mark review the more than 300 photos they took throughout the investigation. And see this.
I thought I would have seen something like that, but one of the photographs showed a full black figure standing right up behind the door. After seeing that, I stood behind the door and Mark took some pictures of me standing behind the door, and you can see the colour of my skin, my face, you can tell it's me. But this picture is completely black.
Seeing this figure behind the door is a little spooky, especially since they didn't see it while they were filming. But you gotta remember, this is what they're there for. This is what they've come to find.
And make no mistake, Jeff is thrilled with what they did find and isn't deterred by what happened.
I'd rank an 8 out of 10 for the old mill house. I'd probably even go back there just for a little holiday. It's a really nice place. I don't believe that object that was thrown at me was to hurt me or anything like that. It was just saying, I'm here and this is what I can do.
What the was that?
Coming up, a notoriously haunted hotel in Arkansas houses a spirit that likes to sing.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
The Crescent Hotel and Spa is a 4-story luxurious vacation destination in Arkansas with a haunting, checkered past. Originally built in the late 1800s as a retreat for the wealthy, a man named Norman Baker obtained ownership in 1937. And despite not having a medical license, turned it into the Baker Cancer Hospital, touting his own cancer-curing elixir. According to some reports, potentially hundreds of patients who put their faith in this miracle cure died in the building. Now, many believe some of those lost souls are still roaming the halls. And at least one of them, apparently, likes to sing. August 2024, in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, a woman named Angelina and her daughter Sydney are staying at the Crescent Hotel and Spa in what is rumored to be one of the most haunted rooms. And one morning, when Angelina steps out onto her balcony and begins recording a video of the view, she hears something that stuns her. Listen closely. Did you hear it? Listen again, as a soft, melodic voice can be heard. Despite there being no one else in sight.
My name is Angelina, and this is my video. It was the morning after we had stayed there the first night, and I just made me some tea. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so nice sitting out on the balcony, and I started hearing some singing. And it would go in and out. And it was just like angelic, and it was just so like sweet and beautiful. And I was a little bit scared. It's the way the singing was that made me think that it was a ghost. It was just old-timey, something from like an old age, the way they used to sing, like some of, you know, like the records that we hear. It didn't sound like something from today.
It is ghostly. I mean, truly a haunting melody. We use that phrase in a non-supernatural way all the time, but this really just embodies it. This is this haunting melody. It's not frightening, it's not scary, it's not loud, it's not aggressive. It's sort of this beautiful, sweet sound. You put that all together, that's almost inarticulable.
Could it be coming from the room next door? There certainly wasn't anybody on the balcony with her. There's no doubt about it, it's a woman singing, and quite well, actually. But there wasn't anybody there.
Nobody that can be seen, at least. And apparently, unexplained events like this are just par for the course at the Crescent Hotel and Spa.
So I actually know somebody that worked and lived at the Crescent Hotel, and every time I see him, he has to tell me a million stories. You've got to go investigate there. You can't believe how haunted it is.
This is considered to be one of the most haunted hotels in the country, and this is probably in part due to its brief stint as a cancer cure center by someone who had no business trying to do so. It was a fraud, it was a fallacy, and some of those things may still remain.
If so, their presence seems to be sporadic. Because when Angelina wakes her daughter so she can hear the singing too.
Sydney, there's a ghost singing out here. I'm not even kidding you. Come here.
As soon as they return to the balcony,
it sounds like it's coming right next door, and it's not. Nobody's there. I looked. Just sit down. It'll happen.
It's no longer audible.
It's supposedly coming from over there, but it stops and goes and goes.
I think what happened is when she came out onto the balcony, it changed the energy level. It did something, and the place memory or the residual haunting ceased because that energy changed.
Just sit and listen.
The moment may have been fleeting, but it's had a long-lasting effect on Angelina.
I want to go back and I want to experience that more.
Oh my gosh, this is...
It's just so sweet and special to experience those things. We're going back this summer for my daughter's senior trip. We're going to stay longer.
Coming up, a bizarre object crosses the moon.
What is that? Okay, that's weird.
In the London sky.
That's exceptionally weird.
With so many UFOs being reported these days, it seems the trove of evidence at our disposal is growing at an unprecedented rate. But what might be even more beneficial is that there is also a greater variety of eyewitnesses capturing this evidence Many with a certain set of knowledge and skills that makes their analysis that much more specific and potentially enlightening. Just ask one man in England whose scientific background enabled him to spot and analyze a large mysterious object in the sky that may very well be from another world.
That's exceptionally weird.
June 2024. In London, England. Matthew Bostock and his girlfriend are out on their balcony, enjoying a rare, beautiful view of the moon. It's so dazzling that Matthew takes out his phone to document the sight. But as he begins to record, he spots something on the phone screen that's invisible to the naked eye.
What is that? Okay, that's weird.
It's a massive, long black object moving slowly across the moon.
Can you film it too?
I can't, it doesn't get any detail.
That's weird.
My name is Matthew, and this is my video. It's strange. I was kind of confused because I guess it moved a bit like a cloud, but also it doesn't look like a cloud. It's kind of thin. I haven't seen anything like that, so I thought it was quite fun.
It's moving though.
It is going from left to right.
Matthew, a scientist by trade, tries to find a logical explanation.
Yeah, but it's like slow.
Yeah, but to be that long, that's exceptionally weird.
The first thing I thought was a kind of arch of balloons that had escaped from a wedding. But as I kept watching it, it's very sturdy, the object. So it just stays still going across the moon like this.
Once the object drifts past the moon, it becomes invisible against the night sky, and Matthew stops recording. But he doesn't stop looking for answers.
Most of the time you can kind of tell what something is in the video by slowing things down, changing the brightness and contrast. This is exactly what I do for my job, but I just use a microscope and look at cells. I did the same thing with my phone camera, and it's just very strange. I still don't really know what it is. I can't really identify it, to be honest. I've even shown it to people at work. I've got lots of great people at work who can help me debunk the video and everything. And so many people are like, what the hell is that thing?
So, what did Matthew and his girlfriend capture that night?
What is that?
Okay, that's weird.
My first reaction to seeing this is that maybe it's some type of space debris, that's kind of floating back down to Earth. Also, could it be a plume of smoke from a rocket launch? But usually those are only seen because you have the reflection of the sun's light and it gives sort of like an iridescent glow to it. It doesn't show up as a kind of a dark, obscure figure like this does.
Can you film it too?
I can't, it doesn't get any detail.
That's weird.
Is this object or whatever it is actually floating in our atmosphere, stratosphere, or somewhere further out in the ether in that vast space between us and the moon? For all we know, this could be some huge object that's actually closer to the moon and its orbit than to our own.
It's like slow.
Yeah, but to be that long?
I do really like it when we have eyewitnesses of this sort whose background is rooted in a very sober-minded, data-driven analysis. This is not a person that's going to look to the sky and automatically leap to the notion of, it's aliens. Instead, they're thinking through a little bit more. And when they're still stumped, yeah, I'm paying closer attention.
That's exceptionally weird.
And perhaps because he's stumped, Matthew remains open to all possibilities.
My logical brain is telling me it could be a cloud, traveling at a very steady pace. However, you can look up the wind currents and it would be going the opposite direction that night. It would be very cool if that was a long alien mothership here in London. That would be amazing.
What is that like? Okay, that's weird.
Coming up, a floral arrangement at a funeral. Moves on its own. Whether a vivid dream, a flickering light, or a well-timed song on the radio, many of those who have recently lost loved ones have similar stories of receiving some sign of acknowledgement from beyond. And while some of these incidents could be chalked up to one's own particular interpretation, what happened at a woman's funeral in the Dominican Republic seems to leave no doubt whatsoever. March 2024, in Villa Gonzales, Dominican Republic. Mourners attending a funeral are equal parts shocked and inspired when one of the wreath flower arrangements starts doing this.
Quítate, Noé! Quítate, Noé! Quítate, Noé! Feliz día, tú estás feliz, tú estás feliz, tú estás feliz, tía.
The arrangement is forcefully and steadily wobbling back and forth, seemingly on its own.
Gracias, tía, gracias.
This is very bizarre. I love things like this, which are far and few between, where you're just obsessively watching over and over, clicking rewind and pausing and trying to figure out what the hell is going on here.
It looks almost animal-like. Like the easel, the stand that the wreath is on, has been animated. It has come to life. It's almost like it's rocking back and forth on like two front legs or something.
I mean, that thing is off the hook, swaying back and forth. It is having an absolute meltdown. There doesn't appear to be anything nearby that would be doing that other than what I would think would be wind. But looking at the other flowers around it, you don't see hints of breezes around it.
I was looking for the energy to dissipate. I thought it would rock back and forth and start to slow down, but it seemed to just keep going.
Apparently, matching the energy of those at the funeral.
Tía, te amamos. Tía, te amamos, tía. Gracias, tía, gracias.
There is this sincere excitement, this symbol from what they believe is the other side. It's like a sign that, hey, your family member is still here, still hanging out, doing good, and waving at you from their own funeral.
And while rarely this overt, these signs might be more common than you think.
There are a lot of people that have come to me over the years saying that they've had an experience very soon after their loved one died. I think one of the most common ones I hear is, I got a strange phone call. It was from my loved one's cell phone number. There was static on the end. You hear that sometimes, or you'll have a phantom smell of their perfume or the cologne that they've worn, or maybe a picture of them fell at your house and you didn't know that they had passed. So I think things like that are more the typical stories we hear in association with somebody passing away.
It seems to be most active kind of immediately after the passing and then tapers over several months or maybe a year or so. Maybe that's kind of like the weaning off period where that deceased person knows it's important. They know I'm still here, I'm still with them, until they've pretty much kind of learned to cope with their grief, and now they're okay, they're not needed as much.
And if that isn't reason enough to believe, consider that the event took place during Holy Week, the week leading up to Easter Sunday.
that's a time for miracles. Within that belief system, that is a time when everything is heightened. And so if something anomalous or spiritual or even just especially emotional happens at that time, it's imbued with this way bigger power of the calendrical year that makes a different interpretation almost impossible.
Almost impossible, but not entirely.
Because of the poltergeist-like nature of what we're seeing here, this very well could be RSPK, which is recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis, which could be coming from one of the people gathered there.
It doesn't surprise me that maybe all of that emotion, all of that energy and intention surrounding those beliefs could charge the area, perhaps stir up some sort of activity like this.
Regardless of the why or the how, it's just another feather in the cap of the inexplicable. What should you do in the event you witness something paranormal?
What is that like? Okay, that's weird.
Here are some tips to get it all on camera. Check your footage, and then...
Do you see that?
Check it again.
What is that?
Trust that what you're seeing really is otherworldly. Don't stop recording. Even if you're scared.
What the was that?
And if you do catch something, email us at submitparanormal@gmail.com. Your footage could be seen right here on Paranormal Caught on Camera.